Unlike fictional creatures, the history of the jinn is treated by historians and theologians as a cultural and religious evolution of how humanity understands the unseen. 1. The Primordial Era, Ancient Mesopotamia. Long before the term jinn existed in Arabic, ancient Mesopotamian civilizations, Sumerians and Akkadians, believed in nature spirits and wind demons. The inspiration. Archaeologists suggest that creatures like Pazuzu, the Mesopotamian wind demon, served as the early blueprint for jinn. These beings were formless, associated with destructive dust devils and storms, and were seen as wild forces that lived on the fringes of human civilization. The divine relationship. In these early cultures, there wasn't a strict line between gods and spirits. Jinn-like entities were often minor deities who acted as brokers between the high gods and mortals. 2. Pre-Islamic Arabia, the spirits of the desert. In the era known as Jahiliyyah, the Age of Ignorance, the Bedouin people developed the most vivid history of the jinn. The poet's muse. It was historically believed that every great Arabian poet was possessed by a jinn who whispered their verses. To be a poet was to have a supernatural connection to the unseen. The Majnun, the Arabic word for a person who is mad or insane, is Majnun, which literally translates to possessed by jinn. Geography of the unseen. The jinn were believed to inhabit desolate valleys, ruins, and caves. Travelers would offer small sacrifices or recitations to seek safe passage through jinn territory. 3. The Islamic Era. Integration into theology, 7th century. The most significant historical turning point occurred with the rise of Islam. Rather than erasing jinn folklore, the Quran codified them into a formal religious framework. The timeline of creation. Islamic tradition states that jinn were created 2,000 years before humans. They were made from smokeless fire, marjin min nar, whereas humans were made from clay. The First Rebellion. History tells of a time before humans when jinn ruled the earth. They eventually became corrupt, shedding blood and causing chaos, leading God to send an army of angels to drive them to the remote islands and mountains. The story of Iblis. This era defined the most famous jinn in history, Iblis, Satan. Unlike the Christian fallen angel, Iblis was a jinn who had been so pious he was allowed to live among angels, only to fall from grace when he refused to bow to Adam. 4. The era of King Solomon, Prophet